I'll call the meeting to order. This is a special council meeting, the AGM for the Haliburton Kawartha Housing Corporation. And I'll look for an adoption of the agenda. Councillor Richardson, Councillor Warren, all in favor? And that's passed. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on anything on the agenda today? Seeing none, should any arise during the course of the meeting, advise the chair and they'll be dealt with accordingly. This special council meeting shall recess for the Kawartha Lakes Haliburton Housing Corporation Annual General Meeting, and I will turn it over to Deputy Chair Mike Perry to chair the rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and welcome, fellow councillors, to the AGM for the Kawartha Lakes Haliburton Housing Corporation, the corporation that we have in partnership with Haliburton County, doing a lot of great work on the ground every day to make sure that those among us who are most vulnerable at this time have safe and effective places to stay. So I want to make sure I thank staff to begin with. As we set out on the AGM today, it's a very perfunctory agenda, and because we are now officially recessed from council, this is the AGM portion. So for the AGM, I would like to see an adoption of the agenda motion. So be it resolved that the agenda for the meeting of the AGM 2024-01 of the shareholder of the Kawartha Lakes Haliburton Housing Corporation, the corporation of the City of Kawartha Lakes, be adopted and circulated. Can I have a mover? Councillor Warren, seconded by Councillor Ashmore. Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And this meeting has, of course, been called to order. We need the approval of minutes from the previous meetings. So can I get a motion that it be resolved that the open session minutes of the annual general meeting of the shareholder of January 31st, 2023, the shareholder meeting, be approved as circulated? May I have a mover for that motion, please? There we are. Councillor Smeaton, seconded by Councillor Yeo. Debate? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? The motion is carried unanimously. Closed session. Be it resolved that closed session minutes of the annual general meeting of the shareholder of January 31st, 2023 be approved as circulated. May I have a mover of that motion, please? Deputy Mayor McDonald. Seconder, Councillor Warren. Debate? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? And we do see you on the screen, Councillors Yeo and Smeaton. New business. This is the shareholder report for 2024, and we first will be resolving that the report 2024-01, the 22 audited financial statements, be received. So a motion to receive that the auditor's report be received and that the audited financial statement for 2022 be approved as circulated. Can I get a mover for that motion, please? Councillor Warren, seconder, Councillor Yeo. Debate? Seeing none, the motion is passed unanimously. Last but not least, in our very detailed agenda today, that Deloitte & Touche LLP be appointed as auditors for the year ending December 31st, 2023, as at the quoted total annual fee of up to $11,000 plus HST. We have a mover for that motion. Councillor Richardson, seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald. Debate? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. A motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh, Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconded by Councillor Warren. All in favor? Opposed? Debate? Opposed, if any? Okay, all in favor? Opposed, if any? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
The special council meeting shall reconvene following the conclusion of the Kawartha Lakes Halliburton Housing Corporation Annual General Meeting. Can I have a confirming bylaw? Councillor Warren and Councillor Yeo. All in favor? And that's passed. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Perry, Councillor Yeo, all in favor? And that's passed. We'll reconvene at 1 o'clock for our regular council meeting. Good afternoon, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. It's the regular council meeting of January 30, 2024, and I'll ask everybody to rise for O Canada.
The true north, strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Please join us in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you.
Session of the regular council meeting on Tuesday, January 30th, 2024, be adopted as circulated with the following amendments. Additions, item 6.1 being a deputation by William Demby regarding the 2024 tax increase, and item 6.2 being a deputation by Doug Shaw regarding water billing. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? And that's passed. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on anything on today's agenda? Seeing none, should any arise during the course of the meeting, advise the chair. We'll deal with it accordingly.
Mr. Mayor?
Councillor Yeo.
Yeah, I actually in bylaws, I believe my sister's property issue is in bylaws today, so I will be excusing myself from the vote.
Thank you. Notices and motions by council. Councillor Warren.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just have a couple. And first of all, I want to send kudos out to the Burnt River Community Center for another chili cook-off. They do this every year, and it raises great money for the community center, so well done. I'd like to invite everyone to Bob Cajun for Frost Fest from the 17th to the 19th of February. There will be many events happening all weekend with many partners. There's Settlers Village, Gaming Nature Center, all sorts of businesses have chipped in. So there'll be something for everyone, from snow carving, scavenger hunts, hot chocolate, skating, to après Frost Fest, and fun events at Gaminge on Family Day. So I want to thank Impact 32, the Bob Cajun Chamber, and all the businesses who make this event so amazing each year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you, just a few announcements. One being the Manver Swans have a live action for Leaf and Duck game on February 17th. It's run by the community for the community, and you can go on their Facebook page and look to participate. Another is the Pontyville Community Center this Friday is hosting a movie night for kids. This is all being done by local sponsors, and there's a local monthly movie now for the children, and the Pontyville Community Center is running an ongoing donations for the food banks. It's we do have huge food bank turnouts during Christmas time, and our food banks are actually running short this year. So I do want to remind folks that it's really critical that we keep supporting our local food banks. Also, this Friday, February 2nd, it's on the PA Day. It's the Kibble Project and Storm Productions sponsoring Manver's Public Skate from 2:30 to 4:30, asking participants to drink gently, use clothing to support Kibble Project. It's run by Gladys Stoico and her team, and it helps raise funds for the animal shelter. I want to give Parks and Rec a huge shout out for this Kawartha Lakes sponsor skate program across the city of Kawartha Lakes. It's really nice to see a lot of local businesses and individuals, doing renting the ice for our local groups, and you use the QR code, you register, and it's being really, really well received, and it's nice to see that program that we're offering out there. Also, maybe just a quick note is I was able to attend Roma last week, which is probably my first seminar conference since before the pandemic, and it was really nice just to network with a lot of different municipalities and actually recognize that they're facing the same challenges we are, and also to note that we're also being looked at with our short-term rental program and our strategic plan, and even our tax rate this year has been noticed by a lot of other municipalities of how aggressive we were. So it was a great conference. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Joyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you, I'd like to announce that the Little Britain Community Association is launching their first bonspiel at the Oakwood Curling Club. It's on February 10th, 12 noon to 4 p.m. I'm hoping it's the first of an annual event. 12 teams, and you don't have to know how to curl. It's just a fun family event. It's $80 per team or $20 per person, all going towards a good cause. The Little Britain Community Association turns all funds back into the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Yeo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. I'd just like to give council a little update on what's going on around Kobe and Norland. Right now, there's tons of work going on. They've got the wharf in Kobe all ripped out, well under construction. The foundation is almost complete on the new medical center, wellness center up top of the hill. They'll be getting ready to move the train station back on top. And we had our grand opening with people from Trillium, Ontario, at Ward Park for our new ice rink. So I'd just like to take this moment to thank council for their support in all these projects, and hope to bring you more good news in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Perry.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. I'd like to begin with recognizing and marking the passing of Canadian political icon, the Honourable Ed Broadbent, on January 11th. As many of us know, Ed Broadbent grew up in Oshawa, just down the road from us here, and I was honored to be able to attend his funeral in Ottawa on Sunday. Ed Broadbent cared about everyday people, and he was especially known for his honor and integrity and kindness towards his political opponents, disagreeing without being disagreeable. And I think we could use a lot more of that these days. So rest in peace, Ed Broadbent. On a lighter note, congratulations are in order to our colleague, our council colleague, Councillor Warren, who was just elected chair of Kawartha Conservation. So environmental and conservation issues, I'm sure you'll agree, are in good hands with Councillor Warren at the helm. Folks, the best party in Kawartha Lakes on Saturday night was in Fenelon Falls. Get ready for it. It was the Fenelon Chamber AGM on Saturday with a full house. They also have at the Fenelon Seniors Club, a 13-member board of directors, a buffet and trivia night. And it was great to see everyone out having fun. Again, unheard of for an AGM. So congrats to Shannon, Mary Lee, and team. And clearly, local businesses and prosperity are in good hands in Fenelon Falls and area. Last but not least, February 15th at the Fenelon Seniors Center, there will be a health day, health awareness day from 9 a.m. till noon. And there'll be 5 guest health professionals doing a panel on ways to improve quality of life and extend lifespan, especially geared at our residents 55 and up. So I trust perhaps you'll be there, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. When I hit 55, I'll go. Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few announcements. Also, this past Sunday and Monday, I attended the Roma Conference, Rural Ontario Municipalities Association in Toronto, and met with fellow councillors and mayors and staff all across Ontario. It was a great event and lots of topics, including one that I was at about economic development, listening to Dr. Audrey Jamal from the University of Guelph School of Economics, and guest speakers that were from Thunder Bay, Town of Mental, Harriston, Clifford, Palmerston, smaller towns in Ontario, also Prince Edward County, and they gave a really good insight as to how to improve the downtown, their downtown revitalization. And it was really interesting to hear what other municipalities are doing in that field. So that was great. And on the 16th of February, there'll be a Valentine's dinner at the Omimi Legion on the 16th. On the 18th of February, just before Family Day, the annual radar run, the 5th radar run, will be held in Pleasant Point. Weather dependent, it may be held at the corner of Steeles Line and Highway 36, depending on the weather. So that'll be, usually brings out about between 1,000 and 2,000 people every year, so it's a great event. And finally, I just wanted to congratulate the winners of the recent Starter Company Plus program. The Kawartha Lakes Small Business Centre, in partnership with the Province of Ontario, offers a Starter Company Plus program twice a year. Entrepreneurs are given access to small business training, mentoring, and grant money up to $5,000 to assist in the startup or expansion of their business. Just wanted to point out a couple of businesses in Ward 6. Brower Bake Shop, Hannah Brower. Hannah Brower's venture specializes in custom cakes and baked goods, and her business is in Downeyville. It's a beautiful new shop, and she's renovated the former store in Downeyville. If you're ever in Downeyville, please drop by there. And the other one is Wild Acres by Kim Callahan out of the Omimi area, and Kim specializes in fresh, locally grown flowers to supply for businesses. So these are along with Lindsay Blind's Kawartha Lakes shuttle service, Perspective by Peel, Wild Acres, Bistro 93, and Homespun Alchemy. These are really great young entrepreneurs, and just wanted to recognize them. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Smeaton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, can you hear me okay?
You're doing fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ashmore. I'll just capitalize on my first point here, was to congratulate Bistro 93 on their young entrepreneurship. And it's a familiar place for my wife and I, and we wish Justin all the best and congratulated him the other night. I had a great visit at William Place this past month. dropped in for a question and answer period that we set up. And our seniors can't be forgotten. And they had some some really great questions for Councillor Smeaton, that's for sure. They're just as interested in bridges and buildings and hospitals as anybody else. And it was really, really a great education for me to listen to the elders in Ward 5. Noticing we're about 30% of the way through our term. And I wanted to thank you, Mr. Mayor, personally for endorsing us to go to Roma. As you've heard from previous councillors, just the public really need to know that, A, we have that kind of support from you to encourage going to these things. And the amount of learning in and out of classrooms, if you will, as Deputy Mayor Councillor Richardson pointed out, it's just a great opportunity for me as a young councillor. And so thanks to everybody who supports us going to these things. It's an incredible learning opportunity. And last but not least, Tom Walling. Ward 5, Tom, a lot of people know his dad. Tom helped me coach basketball at Central Senior with Scott McLeod many years ago, so I got to know him well. And he was just selected as one of the 3 AMO Fellows this year, which is a real honor for a young university student whose goal is to become a politician or be part of the political process. So I'm really proud of him, and his family's very proud of him. And it's neat to see a young person who believes strongly in the political process and would like to be part of it. And I'm looking forward to taking him out to lunch or dinner at AMO. And for those who are attending with me, you might like to meet Tom and enjoy a meal with us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of things. February is recognized as Black History Month. Kawartha Lakes joins communities across Canada in celebrating the heritage of Black Canadians who have shaped our country. Please take a moment to check out the Kawartha Lakes Public Library recommended books to celebrate Black History Month, or take the family on a guided hike this Saturday near Cobeconk, hosted by the Kawartha Land Trust, and learn more about Black excellence in conservation. Also, as you've heard, Council and I, members of Council and I, attended the Roma conference. During that conference, the CAO and I were able to meet with members of the government, including the Minister of Municipal and Housing, Children's Services, and Social Services. We were able to bring our concerns forward to them and had discussions, and we received good feedback from them, and hopefully going forward we will see some action on the items that we raised with them. Also operating with the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, I attended the long-term care deputation and was able to advocate on behalf of long-term care to have revisions made to the case mix index, which is very onerous. And if done away with or revamped to a different way of doing things, could free up more than 1,000 registered nurses who could then be put to use in the long-term care facilities. We were also able to meet with the Liberal caucus and the NDP caucus and bring them up to date on things that were happening in rural Ontario and certainly things that were happening in Kawartha Lakes. Altogether, I thought Roma was a very successful conference for us. We got some 8 deputations altogether and got our case in front of cabinet ministers and senior staff of the government. And hopefully this will help us as we go down the road with our expansions, our builds, and all of the projects we have on the books. So thanks to everybody who came to Roma, and thanks for your participation. And I think it was a very positive experience. Are there anything from staff? Seeing none, we'll move on in the agenda to item 6, which is deputations. Sorry, we need to receive the regular council meeting of December 12th, the minutes as circulated. Could I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Richardson, Councillor Ashmore. All in favor? Thank you. That's passed. Now we'll move to deputations. First deputation is Mr. William Denby speaking as a follow-up to his deputation at the Committee of the Whole earlier this month regarding 2024 tax increases. You have 2.5 minutes.
There. Your worship, and I'll call you that, Mayor. I think I deserve 5 minutes, simply because I used my 5 minutes to address part of my concerns. So on this one, I'm going to deal directly with legal implications that you people are going to endure once we go to court. And it's going to be very clear. And if I get it done in 2.5 minutes, you stop me. I'm pretty good at giving deputations. I've done it enough in court. Anyways, I want to thank the councillors, the mayor, the CAO, and the directors for allowing me to put forth to you a case that we wished would never happen. But it's left us no choice. And I'm going to start in the very beginning. This is all the treaties that were signed in Upper and Lower Canada, because Ontario is only Canada. Quebec is a separate country under law. The provinces to the east and west of us are colonies that joined Upper and Lower Canada that became Canada. Short history lesson. So what I'm going to say is, and I'm going to prove it very clear in court, that you are on sovereign lands, and they go from the east side of Lake Simcoe to the west side of Peterborough County to Lake Ontario. That was all our ancestral lands. There's no treaty here. You're going to have to prove in court that you have a treaty, you have authority to do what you're doing, which you don't have. Secondly, this is the Municipal Act, the Bible of law. See all my tabs? You have violated every part and section of that act, and we'll prove that in court as well. This document will break you. This document is the amalgamation document, signed in 2000, that had to be fully implemented by 2001 of January. You failed to complete this contractual agreement under contract law. We will prove that in court as well, that you have no authority outside of Lindsay. You have no jurisdiction in rural Kawartha as we sit here today. That will be proved in court. This is the major concern I have. You people
I'll get you to wrap up, please.
Oh, I will. You people have been spending millions of dollars in lawsuits that I have. Where did you get the money from to fight these people, to pay settlements? And we want to know, and we're going to find out when we get into court with you. Okay? Because in disclosure, in these court cases, you have denied to pay fines that you were assigned to you by the courts on orders. You have denied to pay fees. You have collected millions of dollars. There's no accountability anywhere in your budget, anywhere in the finance department. We're going to find out where all these millions of dollars are and where they've gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the deputant? Seeing none, can I have a motion to receive the deputation? Councillor Warren, Councillor Perry, all in favor? And that passes. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Just one final comment. I wish you had a question. We are more than willing to enter into negotiations to reach a settlement before proceeding to court. And that we're extending our hand. We'll use a separate mediation. I have 7 claims worth $2.5 billion that we will collect. I want to make it also clear to the people, we are not suing the public. They will pay not 1 cent. We are going to sue every one of you in this room collectively for your own assets. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next deputation is Mr. Doug Shaw, and again, it's an extension of his deputation at Committee of the Whole earlier this month. It's regarding water billing. Mr. Shaw, you have 2.5 minutes.
Members of Council, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, and members of the public. This is a prime example of a situation where we have no accountability with you people. I was not informed that I have 2.5 minutes. Normally I have 5 minutes. There was absolutely no recognition of that when I put my deputation forth. So this proves in this room that there is absolutely no respect to the public. The public pays your wages. The public pays your way. And that's going to change. The Ontario Municipal Act states in many sections that it is illegal to bill for services not rendered without public consent. There has to be a contractual agreement with the public in order to bill for any service in Ontario and Canada. And that's within the Charter of Rights and the Bill of Rights as well. You people are in violation. You have no right to charge for services without a contractual agreement. Ontario Hydro used to have the same situation where they billed people for services on end of lines. They realized, you know what, we're breaking the law. They dropped that. Now, there was a situation where our former mayor said that he had the right to take public funds and use it against them to put connection fees adjacent to properties. That's misappropriation of funds, and that's to prove a point. I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with the billing of water. And I asked you and demanded that I come up with answers. Through this week, I've heard nothing. You people are accountable to the public. You are accountable to the taxpayer. And you have done absolutely nothing since 2017. All you've done is put the billing on the tax roll, which is illegal. Because you know what? It's an imaginary bill. These people that are in these service areas already get taxed for water or hydrants or fire protection above the municipal rate in other rural areas. So you're double charging. You have no right to do this. And then you put it on the tax roll and enforce it and make it so that people have to pay this. It's wrong.
Can I get you to wrap up, please? Just a note, the city clerk called you and left a message, and you never returned the call.
Yeah, it was a situation where I have to work for a living. So, like, you've been given 3 days to do that, and you did nothing until the last minute, which is typical. That's typical. So the last minute at 4 o'clock, somebody calls me on Friday afternoon or Monday afternoon when I'm working off-site, off-farm, and I'm supposed to get right back to you. It's typical. Now, the Wosley report, okay, which has come out very, very recently,
As I said,
it's going to show you people that you have to have accountability to the public. That man is 75 years old, and he is a judge that has impacted our community and our country with respect to the public, which you people have none of. Thank you.
If you just stay there in case there are any questions. Are there any questions for Mr. Shaw? Seeing none, thank you for coming. Can I have a motion to receive the deputation? Councillor Richardson, Councillor Ashmore. All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to correspondence. We have correspondence regarding the development of a municipal equipment operator course. And can I have a motion that it be received? Councillor Warren? Councillor Yeo? All in favor? Thank you. Councillor Joyce, can you turn the podium mic off, please? Thank you. Thank you. We also have item 7.2, which is the Eastern Ontario Warden's Caucus Advocacy Briefing Package. And I need a motion to receive that. Councillor Richardson, Councillor Joyce. All in favor? And that passes. We have no presentations, so we'll move to Committee of the Whole. And the motion is that the minutes of the January 16th, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting be received and the recommendations included in section 9.3 of the agenda be adopted, save and accept items 9.3.2, 9.3.3, 9.3.4, 9.3.8, 9.311, and 9.315. Did I miss any? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's passed. So the first extraction is Councillor Perry. Four. Oh. We need a mover and seconder for that. Councillor McDonald, Councillor Ashmore. Again, all in favor? And that's passed. Getting ahead of myself here. The first extraction, 932, Councillor Perry.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you, fellow councillors, for considering this request. As you recall, the president of the Grover Cottage Association, the vice president, made a presentation, deputation to council last meeting with regards to being able to purchase the road allowances, lakeshore water road allowances to as part of their property. And if you recall, going down Grove Road separates the property owner's main lots from the water. And over the past 40, 50, 60, 90, 100 years, it looks as though it is the same property on both sides of the road. If we were to drive down, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was city land. And I want to thank Councillor help me out, Richardson. Yes, there we go. Councillor Richardson and Deputy Mayor McDonald for coming out on walking the road on Saturday morning. And Councillor Warren came as well earlier in the week, so thank you for that. Basically, nothing's going to change. There are no beaches or city boat launches, and the interested purchasers have committed to doing an easement or road allowance to preserve the road. It's unassumed, so it's in their best interests to preserve that road. And the 6 cottages plus Shiloh has actually purchased and owns that waterfront, some of their own road allowances that are on the water. And so with that, despite the Land Use Planning Committee's denial of these applications, these 17 applications, I'd like to move that council endorse that Realty Services be directed to contact the applicant Grove Road adjacent landowners and negotiate with the city land sale agreements for the Grove Road shoreline road allowances, which will include languages to protect the city's lakefront access and the existing road infrastructure. I was hoping to get a seconder on that motion.
Councillor Warren, do you wish to speak to it?
Just quickly, yes, I went down and had a look, and it seems that as long as the city can, have areas for in case of flooding or an easement, that sort of thing, which Councillor Perry has said that would be part of the agreement, I'm all in favor.
Thank you. Councillor Perry, turn off your microphone, please. Thank you. Councillor Richardson.
Can I speak to it? I want to thank Councillor Perry for offering me to come out for a stroll on Saturday morning, because I was a bit concerned when you're looking at 17 applications and, reading through the mythology, and you think it's quite tricky. It was an interesting walk, because I could clearly see that, we actually have, I think, 6 applications that have already been deemed to sell. It's the folks that were having the conversation would be in alignment to looking at those setbacks and those terms. So it sounds like they're very open about that. It's interesting too when you see that you have an opportunity to increase revenue with the sale of this land based on our land strategy sale that council has approved, but also that you have an extra tax base on the other side of the road. They will be receiving a tax bill for both sides, which actually helps when it comes to operational costs when you're looking at that limited service agreement. And also what I noticed is, and I do want to give accolades to our city staff, because that road is very well maintained, and they should be, said accolades for that, because they do a good job. Also the fact that the association has brought that road up to a level of maintenance that they're happy with. That's a good looking road. So I don't have any issues with the residents moving forward with this, just for the fact that you can see that this neighborhood is very committed to what they want. So that's why I'm supporting it.
Thank you. Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, through you. And thank you, Councillor Perry, for inviting us out there to have a look at it. It's a lot easier sometimes to go out and look at these situations than just talk about it sitting around this table. It's nice to have feet and eyes on the ground to look at that. Again, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. There's already 6 people that already brought that property years ago across the road. I don't understand why the other ones can't, for one thing. Nobody's given me any reason why they can't. And just to what Councillor Richardson said, that we'll be collecting tax bills for that property, and also the money that we collect when we sell the land could really help the city for future projects. So all in all, I think it's a win-win for everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Joyce, followed by Councillor Smeaton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I'm really not familiar with the situation, but I just noted one line here that the land management team denied this due to concerns regarding road maintenance. But what are the concerns? Can they answer that?
I don't know. You could direct a question to the Director of Public Works or Engineering, if you wish.
Director of Public Works.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. Just wanted to, I can respond to that. Grove Road is again, it's a municipally owned shoreline road allowance. There's a road that's on there that's, in areas barely 4 meters wide. It's difficult to get equipment through. There's encroachments for structures that are there that have been their legacy. I'm not questioning that. Operationally, we have concern with sale of that road allowance. What will be remaining for municipal road allowance to enable us to perform activities that we are committed through under the limited service agreement. That's both winter and summer activities within that road, as well as waste collection. So again, there's no defining here through this resolution what that remaining parcel of property that the municipality is going to retain to provide service. Is that going to be a 4 meter wide road allowance? Is that going to be a municipal standard 20 meter wide road allowance, which would in fact mean that we're not going to sell any of the road allowance? So there's still a lot of questions. But again, if council is going to direct the sale of that property, we'll work towards what we need to maintain enough property there to perform service, but that's the reason why we're concerned. The reason is that there's very little property there to begin with. There's encroachments all over the place, and we have a commitment through a limited service agreement to provide service to that road. If council wants to remove the limited service agreement, sell the entire thing, more than supportive of that. But the challenge is going to be is that the residents have a level of service. They're not going to want to get rid of that level of service, but now they also want to own the property, which is going to limit our ability to perform that service down the road. So those are the concerns that came forward from myself to the land management team, and were relayed to the applicants.
My next question is, Councillor Perry, are the residents fully aware of these concerns?
They certainly are, and that's the crux of the issue and why it's being brought forward, is that the residents are flexible and understand the need. I mean, it's an unassumed road, right? It's in their best interest to keep that road wide enough and in good condition. And part of the negotiations at the agreement of purchase and sale stage will be, as in the resolution, including provisions like a setback provision from the existing road so that things can't be built or hedges put in that could cause erosion, those kinds of things. My understanding from, it was either the Director of Engineering or the Director of Public Works in the fall was that was the main concern, and it really has been addressed through the flexibility of the purchasers. They're fine with keeping that road. They want it kept well too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors Meaton, you had your hand up before.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Through you, that was just an error on the computer. Sorry about that. Councillor Perry and I have had long chats about this. He knows I'm fully supportive.
Thank you. Councillor Warren.
Through you to staff, after seeing down there, there was one big area that maybe possibly could be used as a turnaround, or it wasn't, it was a big area. So I'm sure you'll look at that if this goes through.
The Grove Road goes right around and it goes up Burnell, so it's a U. Councillor Perry, do you want to sum up?
I wish I was as eloquent as Councillor Richardson and Deputy Mayor McDonald today. I say ditto to their remarks. Thank you for the questions. This is a bit of a legacy issue, and it'll be great to finally have this affected and proceed to the negotiation stage. Thank you. And I would like to also mention, having grown up, if I could, Mayor.
Is everybody clear on the motion? Can you repeat the motion for the clerks, please?
Sure can, and I also have a text that I can provide. The motion is that Realty Services staff be directed to contact the applicant Grove Road adjacent landowners and negotiate with the city land sale agreements for the purchase of the Grove Road shoreline road allowances, which will include language to protect the city's lakefront access and the existing road infrastructure.
Is there a timeline on that?
Are there traditional timelines that agreements of purchase and sale take?
Would, I guess, 2024 be acceptable?
Later this year, that would be excellent. How about by the end of Q2?
I think that's pushing it.
All right, I thought I'd try. End of Q3. That gives the summer too. I know you're looking for Q4, but I'm going Q3. Do I see a Q3 and a half?
Let's go Q4. Let's give them the whole year, because if it happens in the fall, they're not going to do anything with it in the winter time anyways. So.
You're the mayor, so on we go.
Occasionally. All right, clerks, we okay? Yeah. Okay, we're okay. All in favor? And that passes. Moving on, item 933, Councillor Warren, it's your deputation from Mr. Stata on the entrance to his severed property.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I have a motion that the deputation of Keith Stata regarding an entrance to severed property off of 121 Kinmount be received, and that the issues that Keith Stata has brought forward regarding his entrance to his lot be forwarded to staff for a report back to council. I said by the end of Q1, but that could be changed. I understand staff have a lot of information on this. So is that a possibility through you, Mr. Mayor, to staff, to Brian Robinson?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to bring a report back to council. Q1 is going to be tight to get a report, and March is the last opportunity, so
How
Q2
about
would be fantastic.
Q2, would that be fine?
Yep.
Okay, Q2 then.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Ashmore, do you wish to speak to it?
I think there are lots of issues up there, and you know, not being an engineer or a roads person, it's good to have staff to look at this, and I really look forward to the report back at the end of Q2. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ashmore, do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the deputy, he made it clear the obstacles he's facing, including the guardrail that was constructed there. And hopefully these issues can be dealt with, so that's fine.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Want to sum up, Councillor Warren? Calling the motion. All in favor? And that passes. Our next extraction is item 934, the deputation from Mr. James Webster. Councillor Perry.
Thank you very much, Mayor. As a follow-up now to Mr. Webster's deputation at Committee of the Whole, I'll be bringing a motion similar in substance, if not particulars, to that which Councillor Warren just brought. If you recall, Mr. Webster had applied to purchase the unopened road allowance, which is between some of his owned properties in the north end of Ward 3. He was told that it was turned down for the reasons of future connectivity, and that the issue had to come to council if it was to proceed. That's really all the information that I have as the Ward 3 councillor, and I was talking to Mr. Webster, and he is in no rush, so I'd like to move that the deputation of James Webster regarding the purchase of the unopened road allowance be forwarded to staff for a report back to council by the end of Q1, so that we're able to have the information we need to determine this matter in a fair and equitable manner. Thank you, Mayor.
As you point out, he's not in a hurry. He has said himself he's not in a hurry, and Q1 is kind of a push.
Q2?
Q2 is much better.
Here you go, Mayor. Q2.
You got a seconder? Councillor Warren, did you wish to speak to it? Anybody else? Comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's passed. Councillor Ashmore, you had extracted 938, which is the presentation from the health unit on harm reduction. You said you had some questions. Are you content to have your send your questions to either Councillor Richardson, or I think Councillor Perry is the other person who's on the health unit, and have them get the answers for you?
Yeah, that's fine. I could just write them down, or let's give time to prepare and respond. That's fine.
So the motion for that was to receive. Do you want to move that?
I'll move that.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Richardson. All in favor? And that passes. Next item is 9311, which is the Kawartha Lake Strategic Plan. And Councillor Warren, you had asked for it to be extracted.
Yes, thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. At the Committee of the Whole, I asked a couple questions about whether or not the Environmental Advisory Committee of the City of Kawartha Lakes was allowed to comment, or did somebody reach out? There was just some miscommunications there. And I really feel that they should have some input into the plan. So I have a resolution that report CAO 2024-001 Kawartha Lakes Strategic Plan 24 to 27 be received, and that the Kawartha Lakes Strategic Plan 2024 to 27 be brought to the March council meeting for adoption to allow time for the City of Kawartha Lakes Environmental Advisory Committee to comment on the plan.
Do you have a seconder for that? Councillor Perry. Did you want to speak further on it?
I think it's self-evident. At that meeting, I asked and they said, yes, they had sent that out. Well, something had happened and they didn't get that. So they weren't able to comment. And the problem is it was a timing issue. Also, their meeting is on Thursday. So if it was last Thursday, it wouldn't have been an issue, but now it is because it's Thursday. So not to belabor not passing it, but I think March would be a good time to have enough time to have them comment on the plan. Thank you.
Councillor Perry, did you want to speak to it?
No, I believe that's sufficient, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ashmore, do you wish to speak to it?
Yeah, thank you. I'm for that, but I think there's other groups that also want to speak as well. Like, I'm certainly in favor of that, but I think the public, we need to actually have a public forum. Well, I don't know if okay, you have a motion coming up? Okay, that's good. So if these are two motions, I didn't know that. So I'm okay, and I'll wait till the next motion comes up.
Councillor Joyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I'm not necessarily opposed to this delay whatsoever. However, I just want to point out that when you dig down to the master plans and strategies that are bullet pointed here, in this particular case, this association did have full input in the healthy environment plan, which is in the strategic plan. So they've had their input, and maybe there's some other parties missed, I'm not sure, but I think dig deeper to see if they've had that consultative process. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Stonehouse, did you have something you'd like to add? Thank you. Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, through you. Thank you. Yeah, I respect Councillor Warren's remarks there. But I really believe, though, that when you look at the strategic plan, healthy environment, quality of life, vibrant and growing, it's all there, and it's a work in progress. So I'm just saying, if we keep on delaying everything to move forward, we can still work on this no matter what it is, through the environment, through whatever. This is not something, this is a draft, we're going to do this, and it's still a work in project for the next 3 years. So delaying things, I'm not, unless there's really, I understand the reason why you're delaying it. I don't know what 1 month is going to do to change this, because it's already in the plan to deal with environment. So healthy environment is there. It's there already. What you can add to that, you can add that next week, 3 weeks, or a month from now. So it's ongoing for the next 3 years. So that's just my comment. I understand why you did it, but delaying things I don't think is the answer. I think working with the groups and finding out why this group didn't respond in time, we didn't get the information, is more important than delaying it, because they'll still have, for the next 3 years, have the opportunity to speak on their behalf because you sit on the committee. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. But okay, thank you.
Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor. I guess I'm struggling the same. Just, I've, watched the 3 strategic plans over the years, and they are posted on the city website. And it is that high-level plan that guides the work that we do, right? And it's, we're identifying the work through our different committees and our boards, and we're providing that feedback on our strategic plans and our other master plans. So it's a document that's constantly evolving, and it's constantly, we'll have amendments as we go through it. This is a guideline for staff, so we can plan accordingly and provide staff with the tools so we are actually moving things forward for our residents in our communities. So I feel like it's a great document. When you go through that, you're hitting the check marks, you're looking at each one of our strategic priorities, you're looking at our principles, and at this time I'm in favor of moving forward with this document.
Councillor Smeaton.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, through you. Sorry, my voice is a little shaky. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I support the motion. I just wanted to say that watching the YouTube of our committee of the whole meeting, I wanted to really review what was said. And Councillor Warren asked for a month, so I'll speak to that in a second. And I vocally didn't see a problem with that. I sent an email the same. And what was said at the end of the meeting, at least my last statement at the end of the meeting, was I look forward to this obviously we're going to have lots of discussion over the next 2 weeks. And we did. And so I've come to the conclusion, I just don't see how, frankly, we can say to the public who are asking for a little bit more feedback, regardless of why, someone did or didn't submit. Asking, I don't like the 2 months, so I'll speak to that in a second, because the original was a month. So my prepared statement for today was, I just don't see how 1 month, as a council, we have the right to set the agenda, that this won't go on and on and on. I totally agree with Deputy Mayor McDonald. I get it. This can't just keep spinning. But we do have the authority to say, no, next month is it. We have a month. Anybody who truly, really feels they have something to say, you have a month. We're not committing that it'll be included. But as I put in an email, what if that one gleaning little nugget is there and it gets added? I just don't know how you can say to the public who are saying, can we have 1 month, when we've extended things like, all sorts of bylaws and different things. And we've had people come back time and time and time again and speak deputations. I don't know. So we say a month from now, it's definitely going to be received, and committees have their meetings this month to speak about it if they really are feeling that they'd like that. I just don't see any harm in it. But I was curious why now it's now it's March. It's because my original thought was February, and that's what I in my head had agreed to. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Warren, I'll get you on wrap up. Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. My question I have is that in 1 month, no matter what comes out from this, even if we pass this today, if there's that little nugget that Councillor Smeaton's just mentioned, would that not be able to be added anyway? In 3 months from now, if something needs to be added, could that not be added? Like, this is a 3-year project, so I don't know what 1 month's going to make. We can make amendments to anything as we go forward, because all you have to do is say, hey, this is really important. I think that should be brought in. But anyway, I'm just asking that question because if it's something that we can't make amendments with, then I'll probably go for what you're talking about. But if we can make amendments of this document in the next 3 years, then what's 1 month going to do for this one? And there could be another group and another group and another group. So I'm just concerned that, it could be 10 more people come forward. It could be 10 more months that we're going to wait another month. If we can make amendments to this as we go, then I think that's the way we should go, right?
Council, of course, can do what they wish. If they wish to make amendments to it, it's their document, they can do it. I think I'll weigh in on this a little bit and just say that I think we would be better off today endorsing this document so we can move forward. The actual work of the document is after it's endorsed and staff start to do it, and that's when the public gets involved. That's when we go out and get input into the document and into the individual entities within the document to make it work. And that's where we need public input. I think going out and getting public input on what is rather a look from 30,000 feet could muddy the waters. I think it's far better to endorse it. If after we endorse it, there is an appetite to have staff reach out to the public in some way to get further feedback, then I think that would make a lot of sense as well. So, but what I would certainly prefer is for us to endorse this document today. Remember, we had a special meeting in December about this. We had several meetings where council had input, and we also circulated to a number of agencies and a number of people, and we had very good feedback from the public on Jump In and in other venues, which gave us a lot of input to that document. So my thoughts are that we endorse this today And then if people want to do, have staff do some kind of follow-up to engage the public to get even further feedback, then that's fine, but we've at least endorsed the document to move forward, and we can still get that public input. Those are my thoughts on it. But Councillor Warren, if you want to sum up, please do.
So just on that,
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I just have my hand up there.
Sorry, I didn't see your hand, Councillor Yo. Go ahead.
No problem. And I apologize I wasn't here last meeting, but and I heard what you said, and I understand what Councillor Warren is saying as well. And I really, just in my past experience, I really think going to the public, if we're going to do that one more time, it should be done before we adopt anything. So it's just my 2 cents. I think if we're going to do that, then do it. And don't go back and get staff to do something, then go to the public and say, oh, maybe we'll change this. It just seems counterintuitive in the way I look at things. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Warren.
through you. That's my point too. So, what's the expediency? Why can't it wait a month or two? As I said earlier, unfortunately, the Environmental Advisory Committee did not have the ability to comment on the plan, and their meeting is on Thursday. And they have the plan and they have the questions from Brenda Stonehouse, and they've been working on that. And so that's why I've brought it up. I am their representative on council, and I truly believe that they should have their say, like all the other committees of council. So just to be fair, and I'm not exactly sure as a group what they're going to come up with. Maybe they have some real pearls and gems to add. And I think with all big umbrella plans, it's not that easy to change them. I haven't seen it. I know I worked on a plan many years ago, the sustainability plan. And you know what? It's on a shelf. So I have some background on plans. And so that's why I'm adamant about having them represented and them having a say in what goes into the strategic plan. So, and the reason that I changed my resolution to March is because Councillor Perry has another motion coming forward. So, thank you. I hope you'll support this.
That will sum up. All in favor? And that passes. Councillor Perry, you also.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Yes, I have a follow-up motion, and some of it's already been discussed around the table. But I'll put it on the floor, and then we can have some discussion, and I'll speak to it first. My motion is that council endorse the strategic plan. There are a lot of good things here. A lot of good things that have been included. No one's really disputing that. Of course, there are always areas that can be improved or fine-tuned or be more responsive to residents' concerns. But the motion is that council endorse the strategic plan, engage the public for review and input beyond the jump-in page, and provide public-informed recommendations back to council at its March meeting. So this is what Councillor Yeo had talked about, the one more time going to the public for their input and feedback by the end of March, which is the March council meeting.
Is there a seconder to that? Councillor Ashmore, do you wish to speak to it? Councillor Perry, go ahead.
Sorry, Mayor, do I have a seconder? Fantastic. Councillor Ashmore. Just sensing a little bit of the tone of the table. What we just passed, my understanding was that Councillor Warren passed that the Environmental Committee be able to comment and have that time open till the end of March, which we just passed. That was for a specific committee engagement for which she is the council representative. My motion here is that we go out to the public for for review and input. What we've done to date has been the jump-in page. And we've had conversation on this table that that's not really sufficient, especially with something as big a deal as a strategic plan. and I know that, I'll speak to this now if I could. Folks had mentioned this being a high-level plan, and to me that's exactly why we need to have some input into this plan at the 30,000-foot level moving forward before we adopt it in its final form. Amendments are fine, but they're done by us at the council table, and they're not necessarily consultative. And often I have to share Councillor Warren's experience. It's rare to find an amendment in the 3 years of documents such as strategic plans. I know there's this issue of delay, quote unquote, absolutely. But I don't see it as a delay because there was never a hard and fast deadline. I think we need to take the time to do this right. We're not asking to put it over till March on a technicality or because we don't like some of the details. We're putting it over so that the public has more input and feedback within a reasonable time frame, and then be able to move forward with a document that has public input. I don't see that as spinning our wheels. We've extended deadlines, we've extended times before, and I know that strategic plans set the tone, Mayor. They set the tone, and they set the overall strategy. It's not simply a guideline, it's called a plan. And so that's where the work starts, from the plan, absolutely. And that's where we need to have, in this case, we were brought a strategic plan from staff that only had jump-in consultation. That's why we're here. That's why we're having this discussion. That's why I'm bringing this motion. So that's really the context of where we find ourselves today. And the public really can't muddy the waters. I think they need to express themselves and have input into these kinds of documents. When strategic planning exercises are done in organizations, for example, they do stakeholder consultations completely as part of the process to adopt a strategic plan. So I hope that we can provide for a meaningful period, not forever. I know these things have to be effective and get done, but a meaningful period so that we're able to say that our strategic plan that we've adopted, that we've endorsed, which is this draft, if the motion passes, has had time and received that credibility and the feedback from our local residents. Thank you.
Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I wholeheartedly agree with Councillor Perry. It's not a stall tactic at all. It's a very good thing to have more public input. I know that Manager Brenda Stonehouse, the manager of strategy and innovation, did an excellent job. She worked on it hard for quite a few years, and it's come to the point now where we're just about there. But we collectively, the 9 of us around this table and 2 up on Zoom, we represent almost 90,000 people in this municipality, and they need to be heard. And there's nothing wrong with Jump In. It's been a great tool for us, but we need to actually hear people talk to us and maybe have a meeting here and there. The end of March is certainly not a unrealistic expectation, so I think it's great to have that extra public input just to make sure. I've said this and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is sort of like a constitution of our municipality. This is what we work with. This is our framework. These are our 10 commandments, if you could say, in this document. It's a very good document, and we have to make sure we get it right. And it's almost there, but we need that public consultation really bad. And I really appreciate the efforts of previous 2 councillors that have said like they want to have this public input, and I'm here to support that. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, through you. Thanks. I'm a little confused. So we just had a vote before saying that we're not endorsing it, and then now we have a motion to endorse it. I'm a little confused with that. I have no problem with public input. Like everybody knows that's very important and so on. So I'm just a little confused on both. So we said no to the first one, and we endorsed it that we aren't going to go, and then now we got another motion saying we're endorsing it. But the bottom line is we're endorsing it when we're still going to March. So could somebody please explain the difference?
Councillor Warren or Councillor Perry?
Through you, my motion basically says it be brought forward for endorsement in March. And I believe Councillor Perry's is also that way, to actually endorse it in March.
That's not what I heard, but go ahead.
Mine was to endorse it. Sorry, not to put words in your mouth, but mine says to endorse it in March.
So, Councillor Perry, are
That was to endorse it today, so that we have a draft to go on that has, recognized the good work that's been done and the good things that are in the strategic plan. So we have a base, something that we can stand behind and show people, put in the window when we do this consultation until March. That's in my motion. Thank you.
hang on a sec.
So maybe through you, Mr. Mayor. So my read of the original resolution was receive the plan. That was the direction. And refer it to EAC for comment, bring it back at the March council meeting for approval. That's what was the previous recommendation. Ultimately, you need to approve the plan. That's the action. And I think we understand sort of that direction going forward. I believe that Councillor Perry's request is to endorse the plan in its current draft form so that there's something to consult about. So you're not approving it. You would actually be endorsing it for the purpose of then soliciting feedback from the public. I would recommend that based on the timeline, if you're talking about March, we would then mobilize, if it goes through, something in February, and then sort of collect all of that additional feedback and provide it through a report back at the March council meeting to sync up with the original direction. So endorsement is different than approving the plan.
Okay. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you. That's where I was going. So I appreciate that clarification because I too was confused. And I know none of us are against public consultation. It's just the fact that, we're on that 9th hour. We should actually flush it out right at the very beginning. And no, and I'm just saying, like, it does. This, strategic plan plays that critical role when we are guiding our decision making and when we're driving our strategies. So for me, when we go back out to that public consultation, can I just ask for clarification? Are we gathering feedback on the draft plan, or are we making it broad-based? What do the people think of the plan? I'm just...
Thank you for that question. The wording, and that's why I chose the wording for my motion, is that we endorse the draft strategic plan. So the consultation will be on that plan. And the ideas contained therein. Of course, there may be some others that come up throughout. That's only natural and human, and a good thing, of course. And so that's why it was worded the way it was.
Councillor Smeaton, did you had your hand up and then you didn't?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, through you. My question, the CAO has answered what I was hoping to have clarification on. Thank you. I should have put my hand down. I'm confused on this computer.
Thank you. Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, thank you. Just one last comment. So no issues with that so far as we're all straightened out. Are we confident that we'll be ready with all the public consultation and be able to pass this by March? That's my next question, because that's only 6 weeks away. Are we confident that that can be done? And
well, of course, I was hoping for it to be done in February, but that wouldn't be reasonable. So we were able to assign, as for the mayor's general disposition, March. My understanding is that staff are able to engage in a form of consultation by then, beyond jump in, and we'd be able to bring things back. And again, have a strategic plan that has been consulted beyond jumped in, as we've talked about at this table, and can actually move forward with pride, confidence, and credibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to sum up?
I just did.
So we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? That passes. Next extraction is 9315. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you, if I can just direct a question to Director Rollhouse before I ask for an amendment. Director Rollhouse, when you and I spoke about this, it sounds like we have some warrant work done and some work already done. Would it be feasible to amend that report to Q1 or leave it at Q2?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, I would recommend leaving it at Q2.
Then I'll move it to receive it as is.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor McDonald, Deputy Mayor McDonald. All in favor? And that passes. Moving on, let's take 10 minutes and come back for 2:30. Okay, folks, we got to go back and we received some correspondence, but within that correspondence, there were some considerations, and it's, I think it's pages 49 and 50 of your agenda package, and it's it has to do with the operator's course. You want me to read the whole thing? No? So does somebody want to make a motion that we will adopt those recommendations? Councillor McDonald, Councillor Richardson. Any comments or questions? Like, unfortunately, it said we were to receive it, and now we see that there are other things within the letter. Everybody okay with it? All in favor? Okay, and that passes. You fine with that, Brian? Thank you. Moving on in the agenda. Planning Advisory Committee. That the minutes of the January 17th, 2024 Planning Advisory Committee meeting be received and the recommendations included in section 10.3 of the agenda be adopted. I have a mover and seconder. Councillor Richardson, seconder. Councillor Smeaton. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's passed. Consent agenda. Councillor Joyce, you have the consent agenda?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. This is moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Warren, that all the proposed resolutions shown in section 11.1 of the agenda be approved and adopted by council in the order that they appear on the agenda and sequentially numbered, save and except for items, and there are now items being extracted, so it's all there.
Thank you. I have a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that's passed. Item 12 is petitions. We have a petition for a speed limit reduction for part of Balsam Lake Drive, Township of Bexley. A copy of the petition with 18 electronic signatures and 7 original signatures is available at the clerk's office for viewing. Can we have a motion to receive that petition and refer it to staff? Councillor Smeaton. Sorry, Councillor Yell. Do you wish to speak to it, or you wish to move it?
Yeah, I'd like to briefly speak to it. This, I think I've mentioned this in council in the past about these dry stone walls on Balsam Lake Drive, and this is exactly where they'd like this speed limit dropped to 40. So staff is well aware of this request and this petition as well. So this would be the right step to forward it to staff for hopefully for action. Thank you.
So you're good to receive it and refer it to staff to come back to council, or to?
It doesn't, it only come back to council if it has to.
Hang on. So it'd be referred back to staff for action.
Yes, if it meets the warrants, then go ahead and do it. If it has to come back to council, if it doesn't meet the warrants. So
Okay.
I'd like action, yeah.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Warren. Anybody wish to speak to it? Councillor Ashmore.
Just a question through you to the clerk. Everything's certainly supportive of it, but normally we would publish the first page of the petitioners, but I see that we're not even publishing anybody's name. I'm just wondering if that was a policy change that we've done recently, because people put a lot of work into these petitions, and we know what the petition's all about, but we don't have any signatures here. There are signatures, but I think people would like to see signatures or names. That's the whole thing about a petition.
I just spoke to the deputy clerk. Apparently the petition, the first couple of pages, the online report was published.
So maybe I'm not seeing the right thing. I don't see anything, but it's in another form or another area. I just see 2 pages on the attachment, but.
Page 110.
Okay, I'm in another. That's fine if it's published. So usually the first page is always published.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it's always available at the clerk's office, like any.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We got a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that's passed. Moving on to other new business, we have bylaws, and I believe Councillor Perry does not need to extract the bylaws, but he wishes to speak to them.
Thanks very much, Mayor. Yes, part of my reason to extract was that my understanding was that only a mailet had gone on to these properties. However, I've just now, since we've been meeting, heard back from Emily Turner, who has confirmed my inquiry that actually they were reached out to by phone in the fall, and but did not call back and have not had any requests to meet or discuss the designations. Apparently this is kind of standard the way it goes with the numbered companies, the commercial ownerships. So I withdraw my my extraction because my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Warren.
Through you, so are there no extractions at all then? Good, okay.
Your specialty. Your specialty.
Yeah. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Perry, that the bylaws shown in section 14.1 on the agenda, namely items 14.1.1, 2 and including 14.1.29, be read a first, second, third time, passed, numbered, and the corporate signed and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. All in favor? And that's passed. We're now going to go into closed session. Councillor McDonald, do you have the adoption of the closed session agenda?
Yes, I do. That the closed session agenda be adopted and circulated not, and with the following amendments, addition item 16.3.5 being a verbal report from Robin Carlson, City Solicitor regarding Ontario Land Tribunal, 27 Stubb Road, Kings Bay, Golf Club Limited, Municipal Act 2001, Section 239, 2E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. The Municipal Act 2001, Section 239, 2F, advised that is subject to the solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Seconded by Councillor Richardson.
All in favor? And that's passed. So at this point in the meeting, City Council will go into closed session to consider the items under Section 16.3 of the agenda. As per our procedural bylaw requirements, I'm asking all electronic participants in our meeting today to confirm to me by raising their hands that they are in a private room where no other person can overhear the deliberations and the internet connection is secure and not publicly accessible. Thank you. Can I get a mover and seconder for the following motion? That council convene into closed session at 2:40 p.m. pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act in order to consider matters identified in Section 16.3 of the regular council meeting agenda of Tuesday, January 30th, 2024, namely items 16.3.1 to and including 16.3.5. Mover and seconder? Councillor Smeaton, Councillor Joyce. All in favor? And that's carried. At this point, the meeting broadcast will now end for members of the public watching on Cogeco, your TV cable, the live stream of the meeting on YouTube, and the rebroadcast on cable and the Rogers Ignite will now be temporarily paused for members of the public. When closed session is complete, the live stream and rebroadcast of the meeting will resume to address the remaining open session items on the agenda. All remaining staff, with the exception of the CAO, City Clerk, and City Solicitor, are now instructed to leave the electronic meeting and council chambers at this time. good to go. Madam Clerk, did you want to, is there anything from closed session to be said in open session?
So no motions required. Item 16.3.1, confidential closed session minutes were approved by council of December 12th, 2023. Item 16.3.2, council provided direction on a license agreement at the Lindsay Ops Transfer Station. Item 16.3.4, council provided direction on the collective bargaining mandate for QP 1855. And the final, item 16.3.5, council received an update on the Kings Bay Golf Club Limited Notice of Appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal, re 27 Step Road.
And item 16.3.3 was deferred till February council meeting. So, Councillor Ashmore, you have the confirming bylaw?
Yes, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Richardson, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of a regular council meeting held Tuesday, January 30th, 2024 be read a first, second, and third time passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. All in favor? And that's passed. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Councillor Yeo and Councillor Perry. All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye.